Right, today might be a little rough. I'm gonna knock some rust off, but I feel like I can film these videos at the same time, so just kind of meet me in the middle. So I've been working on Day Tripper, the solo section. There's really not a good breakdown online of how to play this, the drum part, obviously. And so yeah, I want to do a video, work on this for a student, and then I'm trying to film these exercises videos. And while I'm doing this, if you guys have questions about the drums, about this song, drums in general, well, let me know. But I've not recorded for like 2 weeks now, week and a half for sure. Been doing some editing, doing some retooling here like I usually do, and just busy with work and transitioning into summer. So part of this today is probably just going to be, making sure the equipment's working well, and then, I don't know, playing some drums to a click and trying to be good. So the part we'll look at what we're actually recording. Actually, I'll explain the exercise first. The exercise is trying to get us to get that groove down and really try to understand like how we're laying these other parts in. So the basis of this is so that first measure 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and. Second measure is just all. Now, the reason we're using our right hand for everything is, for the most part, we're kind of trading back and forth between crashes and actually a kind of a crash ride that Ringo uses. So it makes sense to really get that idea of this right hand leading, doing a lot of our work. So if you get good at that, then the transition is to this, what he's actually playing, which will be a full 6 bars. Right now we're playing the idea over 4. Let's move that just a little bit. And then probably when I do this part, we'll zoom out. But essentially what you're doing is you're going 1 and 2. So you got that crash on 1 with the right hand leading on that snare again. And then on 3, you're doing this. The second measure was 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so it's a lot of back and forth going on right away. The main thing is if you can get this idea of your right hand really getting that, I call it leading. Like if you can get your kick in your right hand to do a lot of the work to set that groundwork, you just kind of shut your brain off, and then you got a couple movements inside there. All right, let's film the exercise. Let's see. I did some guitar tracking for my band as well, so that's part of the reason I wasn't playing any drums for a little bit, and that felt good. But it feels very different than doing these lives and hey, thanks, Francisco. Doing these lives and I don't know, communicating and whatnot. I kind of burned myself out. I kind of do that, like I got like a 3-week cycle that I'm going to try to stop doing every 3 weeks of complete burnout. So I wouldn't say complete burnout, but some burnout. All right. So the slow tempo I have for this is 80 BPM. It's pretty slow. Let's just kind of warm up on that idea. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Let's just get those kicks. And then you have 1 measure of rest. It's 2 measures to get in. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a little slower than I thought. So yeah, we'll just kind of use this as my own little warm-up. This might be a 2-parter. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so I'm gonna break this down a little bit because I feel like I'm not skipping some steps, but for myself, since I haven't practiced for a hot minute, and I did this in the other live, so it'll just help you. A couple different things that we're gonna get work on by working on the solo section and breaking it down and more simplistic. We're getting some drum rudiments going on. We're getting this idea of this foot getting this. I'm using heel up, so I'm getting a nice kind of like foot and just kind of making him have good control. So keeping that balance there, right? So exercises of songs can teach you songs better and teach you rudiments as well if you make them. And then here I'm doing a push-pull. And so the big thing that I want people to watch for when they're doing this, and especially my students, is, this relax. I'm not moving my wrist all the time. I'm not using free stroke. I'm not using molar. I'm just this push-pull. Because I want to play at 138 decently fast down the road. But to play fast, we got to play slow. So here's 80. Let's do a couple practice. We'll do some listen backs. Like I said, I don't know if I have enough time to pull this all off before my next student, but we'll get started. Let's zoom out here just a little bit. Hopefully. Yeah. All right, that looks good. All right. Cool. We're going to jump in. I might be stalling. I might be wasting time. Like I said, I just haven't done these for a bit, so it just takes me a minute to get my head wrapped around it. Now, it's a practice routine. Okay. 8 counts. For some reason, I stopped doing the foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, let's listen to that one. I feel like I got my my snare needs to be tuned though as well. It's got a little bit of a ring that I don't love. All right, so first things first, listening back, listen to it with the click. I felt like I was pretty close enough for these exercises. And then we'll take the click out and just see, like, do you hear that fluctuation of time or not? So, okay, if this was my band, that wouldn't cut mustard. I don't play drums in the band, though. You can probably tell that. I play guitar. I try to sing. Try. That's good enough for this because I can quantize that and just get it to where I want it to be. All right, so let's do the 6 bars of the exercise. We're trying to go back and forth this way. All right, the 6 bars of the beat. Might be a little rough today. Let's zoom out. So all I care, and this might be an exercise in and of itself where I just don't have this memorized, so we'll run through this a bit. They're very similar with like some slight differences, right? So let's get that mouse out of the way. Let's move this. Like I said, we're going to knock some rust off. So we got 1 and 2, 3 and 4, and 1 and 2 and... Now, again, that exercise that we just did will help you in this for sure. It just helps with concentration too. Like you already know what you have to do. It's just a little bit of moving around. Tendencies of mine will be to like rush it on this too, and I'm gonna try not to. It's the ideal situation. It's a little bit small for me to read, but I think I can focus and get it done. All right, let's do a couple practices just to that with no click. Just get the idea down. Let's hear 80 BPM though. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, in the actual exercise, I'll put a click in between. It gives me a chance to recover and chat a little bit if anybody wants to chat. The other thing I'm going to say is you can easily switch between your right and left hand if you get comfortable with this. It just makes sense to start with your right hand doing a lot of the leg work. Then as you get confident and whatnot, then you can switch if you want to. I'm going to try to stick to right because I'm a little bit better if I do. All right. You can still just hear me fumble a little bit on that second measure, which repeats 3 times, yeah. We'll see. That double on the left might actually be the answer. I say this a lot. A better drummer at me would look... Actually, no. A better sight-readed drummer. I know plenty of drummers that would look at this and kind of have to do that same little puzzling work that I need to do. You know, you have to learn enough sheet music to be like, oh, this makes the most sense how to play it. And actually, on this one, I struggled a little bit just of like, okay, this would make sense. Wait, this would make sense. This would make sense. The other thing to take into account, even though I don't think we should too much, is Ringo's a left-hand... On this song, make sure I said it the right way. Ringo's a left-handed drummer. So quite often he would lead probably with his left hand, where I'm going to be more comfortable leading with my right, which might make it easier or harder to hit that crash. Stuff like that. That's me overthinking. All right. Let's try it. That one was pretty good. Megatron, long time no see. I'm just getting back into the flow of things. It's my monthly, you know, I wouldn't say lose control, but monthly, like, take a little break, come back a little bit fresher. I'm very refreshed, actually. I napped it a lot the past week or so. What's up with you, my guy? Like I said, that last one was pretty good. Let's try to get one a little bit tighter. Let's listen to that one a sec. Guys, if you're watching the short stream, I apologize. It's kind of been a little iffy. It's been iffy the past couple of weeks. Dropping a decent amount of frames. The horizontal one looks a little bit better, though. So, not sure exactly what's up with that. Not bad overall. Probably could play it a little bit tighter, and sometimes reviewing it is enough to be like, oh, okay, all right, I gotta line that shit up. Let's take a listen to that. Excuse me. Let's take a listen to that one. Definitely like a little bit of chasing the metronome, right? Where I'm not completely, not as tight as I'd like to be. Let's mute that for a sec, and let's just kind of warm up a minute again. So I'm just going to go back to just kicks. So just gotta chill a little bit and find that groove. Definitely better. The last two measures were a little bit much more to be desired. That's the phrase I was looking for. Sweet. I could live with that one. Let's listen back. We probably should. But I felt like it was good. Yeah, close enough that, like I said, I can manipulate it a little bit if I want to. Long term, the goal will be to be able to play these all perfect. Come up with an exercise, record it, hand it off the next day. That'll be the dream. That'll be a year down the road. All right, back to just the. So let's hear. This is 100, I'm guessing. Yep. Okay. Let's just jump in. Why didn't I finish that? shit. I played an extra beat. I hit the microphone. All right, before I screw up again, we're just going to move on. Quantization, that's close enough. All right, the 6 bars. So 100 is going to make it a little bit harder. Again, if you can get 100 down with your right hand, I would suggest going back to the 80 and just splitting up hands and getting a little bit of like, I don't know, anytime the left hand can pick up one beat for your right, it's just going to be a little bit easier for you. Let's hear the tempo. Now, that's kind of easy for me to do now, but it's going to be also easy for me to rush and just play a little sloppy, and especially because I like to hurry to get back from this ride hit on 2 and then back to the offbeat. So just, we'll see how I do. No, okay. Pretty good about that one. Let's see what we got. So overall, pretty happy with that. There's a little bit of a flam between my downbeat and the metronome's downbeat, and the metronome's obviously right. Now, it's not big enough that I want, actually, let's do it where we can hear it. It's not big enough where I'd want to retrack it, but it's something I want you to hear. It's something that I'm working to resolve in my own playing. You can tell, I'm not perfect. I'm working on getting better. I think that has to be our ambition, right? Like, just better from where we're at. If we're consistently just aiming to get better, if we're just improving, we will get there. It's the start of the journey that nobody wants to do. Like, even today, I dragged my feet a little bit. One, it was hot. It's like in the 90s here. We're in Michigan. So I was dragging my feet on that just a little bit. But the other thing is, I'm like, shit, I haven't played for 2 weeks. I'm going to be rusty. And all that self-doubt bullshit. You just got to fucking kick that shit aside and say, fuck it, I'm playing. It's not going to be great, but it will be the journey towards great, or the journey towards good. Great might not be the right term. All right, let's just hear where we're at. So what I care more about, the little bit of a flam, and I'm being a little over the top with how picky I'm being. But you take that click away. As long as I have a good flow and I'm not completely out of time, that's what I'm looking for more than anything. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Listen to those old albums. They all have a little bit of ebb and flow to them, And unlike today's music, where we can quantize, and now here's where it's funny. Like, I'm a little bit of a liar, right? I'm going to quantize this to hand to a student, because I don't want them to practice an exercise over and over again and not have it be like on the letter. I guess as I continue to be a better musician and drummer, I probably won't quantize everything. For now, it's like, well, shit, I really want him to practice it right. The ideal scenario for anybody who's wanting to learn this is You take this idea, you practice it a couple times with me, and then you say, screw Luke, and you grab a metronome and you just do that over and over again. The other big thing is if you can get to a situation where you can track yourself so I can listen back, right? This feedback that I'm hearing from myself playing, that's the best way to get good, because you all of a sudden like hear the notes you're hitting, you hear the notes you're not. You're not kind of walking away going, well, I played in time. Well, you might have, but you don't have a judge and jury, with this. Or with this, you do have a judge and jury, and sometimes we need that. All right, I got about 15 minutes left. Let's see. Now, full speed is 138, which is what this should be. We'll see how I do on 138. That might be the exercise might be fine. The beat might be a little hard for me at that tempo. All right. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4. Things to do to worry about speed. There should be no stress in your playing when you're playing fast. You should be more relaxed, if anything. That's easier said than done, but it's what we want to try and work towards. All right, let's just track, see where we're at. So really sloppy. Let's listen back. Yeah, we might end up slowing this one down. We'll find out. So the hardest thing for me, and this is something that these videos will really kind of force me to be good at, is going from that dead stop, right? That 1, 2, 3, 4, and then hear my kicks a little floppy, but then you hear me 2 measures in, I'm starting to get settled in, I'm getting comfortable. Well, then the whole thing starts over again. There's good and bad to that, right? Like if I can't do this, this says it's something that I should spend time on. But these videos kind of help me kind of work through some of my issues. They are many. All right, let's do a couple of them. Listen to those last two. There's probably something that's close enough to make it work. Now, okay, I should qualify that too. Close enough to make that work. If I was in a Beatles cover band and we were playing this song tomorrow, I'd work my ass off on this to make sure it's perfect. I want to make these videos good. I'm not going to spend 4 hours on this because I need to do another video tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow. So mine's more of a I can't say that word. Mine's more like a long-term, like, hey, this exercise is going to make me better. Make this as good as I can for right now. If I'm spending 4 hours on this, I'm doing something wrong. Now, I'll spend 4 hours on the lives because, sometimes on the sheet music lives, because there's a lot of information in every song that I can pull out. And it makes sense for me to spend that kind of time. Me doing this rudiment exercise, this should be if I can't do this in 2 hours, skip, move on. I was doing Smells Like Teen Spirit, and I did 6 of them, and it wasn't getting better. So it's like, I'm not ready to play that 16th note pattern on the kick drum yet. It's kind of like, you could keep on pushing your head against that wall, or hitting your head against the wall, or you can move on to a different song that you're more apt to be, more along your skill set. All right, let's listen like I said I was going to. I can live with that. Again, make the calls for your own practice. That's what I'll say. Sometimes, and people aren't wrong, sometimes I can just beat something to death in my own head and it's not actually improving it. So it's like, I don't know. It's like having a referee. Like, are you ready to move on? Is this as good as you can do right now? As good as you can do right now is okay. Like I said, I'm not playing this song tomorrow. I'm teaching the song tonight. But I already know that by just doing this video, I'm already going to be more prepared and more ready to tackle that. So yeah, it's getting the exercises you want. I'm going to quit rambling for a sec. All right. So here is full speed. which would actually get us the first. I think this is obviously 6 bars. I don't know. It's the whole solo might be 12. It might be a little bit more, but this gets us through the first half of the solo section in Day Tripper. And it's both faster and slower than I thought at the same time. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. So, good to see that I could come in on those 3 other tempos or 2 other tempos and do okay, but without a little bit more practice, this speed is gonna wreck me. But it's kind of fun to let you guys see how bad I am sometimes. So we'll just do a couple. We'll record. I think they'll get better. It's really just hearing that doom 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 doom. And not being sloppy on that too. You know, any slap that you have at slower tempos is going to really reveal itself right now, and you can tell that. Also, I just, watch the videos of Ringo playing it. It's kind of funny. Every time in the music video that they cut to him, he flubs and then he kind of laughs it off. Live, it's hard to see him. So I don't think any self-respecting drummer would play this all with the right hand at the same time. Well, again, Ringo being left-handed. So you just, this is a basis for it. Add it, make it your own. Here's the idea of it. Here's the cymbals that he's playing. Here's the snare pattern that he's playing. Get comfortable with it from there and make it your own. I do think anytime that you can simplify stuff and even just going to your right hand. My point is, I don't give a fuck if you guys leave me 40 comments going, there's no way that he played this all with his right hand. Well, okay. Show me definitive proof. He might have. We don't know. Actually, probably in like the Ringo All-Star Band, some of that newer stuff, if they've ever played this, maybe we could watch him. I'm going to quit rambling. But anyway, yeah, we can pull up a video of him down the road and see. I'll probably do like a compilation video of hey, this is probably how he played it. Sometimes that matters. Sometimes it doesn't. All right. 138. Let's track a couple. We're going to start that one over. Now, even if you don't want to learn the song, getting your push-pull technique to go on eighth notes while your kick is going, that's going to be a good exercise. So it's for a day tripper, but, probably all need to practice it anyway. Honestly, not bad. Me being picky, I want to do a couple more and make that a little bit better. But that kind of hits the mark for what I wanted to do. This is just a simplistic exercise video, All right, I'm going to quit rambling about how, you got to pick what you want to care about. But it's the truth. If I spend 4 hours on this, it steals from 4 hours of something new, or it steals, today I have to finish comping guitar parts for my band. So if I spend 4 hours on this, that means I don't get to do that today. So pick your battles. At least this is happening in my mind. Sometimes how I rate it too, hey, I showed up. I did the exercise. All right, couple more. That was shit. Shit. That was shit, and then I couldn't count. One more. Let's listen to that one because I might have it. Yeah, definitely some slip-ups in there, guys. But, you know, record yourself. Listen back and see. It's one of the best ways to learn. It's where these videos push me, and I don't, you know, if I feel like I'm unpracticed, I don't like doing these, but I kind of have to get myself out of the comfort zone, my comfort zone as well, and just force myself to do stuff like this. Even if you're uncomfortable, that's where the growth happens, or so I've heard. All right, guys, that's what I have time for today. If you guys need the sheet music transcription, the whole sheet, not just the solo, become a member at musicbythemeasurespro.com. Also allows you to get sheet music weekly and, you know, just anything that you guys need, and kind of give us feedback on what videos you're looking for, too. Sweet. Awesome. You guys have a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to you all soon.